Hello everyone, Risty Toothpick here, back again with some more Agatha Christie, Hercule Poirot, the first cases, and today we will be speaking with Zechariah and trying to find any connection between him and the other guests in the mansion.
Monsieur Demir, I hope you are feeling better today.
Nothing a good night's sleep couldn't fix.
Très bien. I wonder if you would be up to discussing certain matters with me.
Whatever you need.
I'm sorry if dealing with the Major's body brought up any familiar emotions.
I lost my taste for death a long time ago, but it had to be done. I'm certainly in no rush to be carrying a dead body again, though.
Most understandable. I shall extend the same gratitude to you as I did to your brother.
You've spoken to him already. How is he?
Perhaps that should be a question you ask him yourself.
Yeah, maybe.
I spoke with your brother about your past.
I bet he had a lot to say. He always did have an opinion on the war.
When I say your past, I refer to your past as brothers.
Oh. Okay, well, what did he say?
It seems you both had the same sentiment for this party. Perhaps the bridges that you thought were once burnt are in fact primed to be reconstructed.
We'll see how probable that reconstruction is going to be. Until he sees my point of view, I don't know how we can move forward.
What is there for him to understand before the bond can be repaired?
He lost his friends in the war, the same as everyone. But somehow he has forgiven. I'm sorry, Detective, I can't. And Gideon just doesn't understand that.
After speaking with Monsieur Gideon about his brother's state of mind, I think the best thing for them both would be a reconciliation. There's something about Monsieur Zechariah's story that he is leaving out though. The death of his friends and comrades weighs heavily on him. Your brother was talking with the Comtesse while in the saloon. I was not aware they were so close.
Those two, close.
They must share something in common to be able to hold a conversation for the time they did.
If there is one thing I know about my brother, it's that he will not. No. He cannot be rude. He just doesn't have it in him.
Was it not your brother that punched Monsieur Hagen?
Ah, that's different. He was asking for it. If you put my brother in a room with 5 socialites like her, he would work his way around every single one of them, offering his full attention and finest manners.
Merci for your assistance, monsieur.
Alrighty, and now we can search his room. And there is a link though between probably Zechariah and Gideon. And I bet you if I had to choose one, I'd put Zechariah is hesitant to talk to Gideon and the photo.
I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps as...
And I was wrong. Okay, let me see here. Zechariah is hesitant to reconcile with Gideon. Okay, it might be something over here. So Zechariah says Gideon was polite to Margot. Maybe this one?
Come, my little gray cells.
I'm really trying to figure out what could be the connection here.
Order and method. That...
Zechariah is hesitant to reconcile with Gideon in the photo. Oh, I must have did the other one. Okay.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment
I was
of
close,
genius.
but super far off. The Demir brothers' estranged relationship is enough to suggest they would not have worked together. At least we got one connection. Let's see what we can find in his room. The room is littered with mess, cigarette butts discarded right next to the ashtray. So he's definitely the opposite of his brother. Not gonna read that, we already know. An ornamental dagger from Zechariah's time in the war. The wonders of modern technology. The fallen snow. And the plant that we should learn from. Alright, that should be everything. It looks like we can talk to Zechariah again. So we will.
Always got time for my favorite detective.
There's a particular item I found while conducting my search.
The dagger. I wondered how long it would take for that to become an issue.
I shall give you the opportunity to explain the reason for it being here before I jump to any conclusions.
It was going to be a wedding gift for Gideon. I've maybe not been the best brother in recent years. I thought this could make up for some of it. After what happened to the Major, I thought it was a bit tasteless.
You did not see it fitting to tell me you were harboring a rather sizable knife in your room?
I wouldn't say harboring. And I wasn't expecting to be a suspect in a murder.
And that's everything.
Merci for your assistance, monsieur.
Alright, no connection, so we're done with him. We can go to the next individual. Monsieur Becker's room. Without him here, I am free to search it. So he is missing as well. Let's go check out the grandfather's clock. Inside Hugo's notebook, a hasty scribble regarding a meeting with, who I assume, Ernesto. Curious. Yeah, they actually should have a very negative relationship. It seems he has been attempting to write a speech of some kind, unsuccessfully though. I wonder, does this fit a pattern of behavior with Hugo? You underestimate the power of man's defiance. You men, you are in a position to bring all of this to an end. All we ask is what we deserve. If you do not retract your men, they will be met with equal force, too forceful. Your weapons may beat our bodies, but they will not bruise our heart's spirits. These are the men that have built our great nation, country, and will continue to. Money will not save your soul. Yeah. There's already another connection there.
What a revelation.
Yeah, he like gets too into it. He has to do it perfect. In Jackie's opinion, she doesn't value Hugo particularly highly. Would he collaborate with anyone else, I wonder? Okay, there's another connection here, though.
I must take a different approach.
Trying to figure out what could connect.
This will not get me any closer to my goal. Come, my little gray cells.
The notebook? Now, that's strange.
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
Hugo and Ernesto confirmed each other's alibis. It's possible that they may have colluded to murder the Major. Can I find anything to support this? It wouldn't make sense, though, because it's Hugo should be helping the people that are working for Ernesto. So that's kind of strange in a way. But I think we're good here. I don't see anything else. Nope, there is something missing.
Aha.
With so many siblings, it must have been difficult for Hugo to get attention. That's a lot of kids. Okay, done there. Let me make sure I check the window.
Oh.
Gotta look at that fallen snow. And the plant.
Oh.
Should learn from it. Alright, and now I think we've found everything of value. The business-minded Monsieur de Silva's room. He is present, but I must begin my search. So he's like, don't even talk to him, just search the room. We'll start with the fireplace. Gaze into the flame.
Huh.
Wonders of modern technology. It looks like even though he says we need to like get into the search, we still need to talk to him.
Monsieur de Silva, I am sure you understand the necessity for this type of search.
Not really, Detective. Your speech was rather spirited. But it did not give me much faith in your investigation.
I have not had my abilities questioned to my face by one of those I suspect of a crime before.
Well, if you wish to prove me wrong, you should hurry up and find Felix's killer.
And I hope, with your help, monsieur, I shall.
Madame van den Bosch spoke of your work with her late husband.
Yes, I helped him invest some money. Unfortunately, he was not the businessman he thought he was.
Madame van den Bosch had a very similar view. At least he could have taken solace that you are both in the same position.
I think you're confused, Detective. It was Edwin that lost his fortune, not I.
Forgive my naivete. If you were helping him make viable investments, would you not have seen the same opportunity for yourself?
I told him about the opportunities. I did not tell him to put his whole family's wealth into it. The prospect of doing good meant more to him than his profit margins. He was bound to fail.
The business declared bankruptcy.
It did, until it was purchased for a fraction of its worth and made the new owner a small fortune.
I am beginning to see Monsieur de Silva more ruthless side. It sounds as though the Viscount was trying to at least make a positive change, but perhaps he was missing Monsieur de Silva's cutthroat edge. What we spoke of last night regarding Madame van den Bosch.
Everything that I want to say on that matter has already been said.
I understand, monsieur. But what I would like to know is, was the late Viscount aware of your feelings towards his wife?
Excuse me, Detective, but you have crossed the line.
Crossed the line like an attempt to bankrupt a business partner and friend so that you'll be able to swoop in and impress a certain target of your affections.
You make such ridiculous accusations without a shred of proof.
Your reaction at the mere suggestion is proof enough, monsieur. While I cannot arrest you for betrayal of a friend, I can hope your conscience does not forget, and that will be punishment enough.
Monsieur de Silva's actions are not a criminal offense, but if there was a penalty for deception and deceit, he would surely receive a life sentence. If he has gone to such lengths before, what would stop him from committing a similar act again, this time to the Major? I know you have worked with the Major, but what do you know of his finances?
He didn't have much to speak of. I was always surprised at the life he lived.
Surprised in what way?
Well, considering it wasn't that long ago he came to me asking about work, I didn't think he was in such good financial shape.
You offered him a position.
Nothing that he was willing to lower himself to. That's when he began talking about what else he could do for me.
The major works security for your factories?
If you can call what him and his team did security. For the money I paid, I did not expect them to be so reckless.
It was a considerable amount you paid him?
There's no need to divulge amounts, but it was certainly more than was expected.
One would expect a business of Monsieur de Silva's caliber to have agreed a price for the Major's services. Why would he allow the Major to barter more? Tell me more about the Major's security team.
He said they were all professionals, but I saw nothing of the sort. He said he had worked with them all in the army as their superior officer. They were men that could be trusted.
But that was not the case?
I had not even met them before they arrived on site. They brought their own equipment. They looked like they knew what they were doing.
And this equipment, it included the weapons that injured and killed the workers?
It was not much of a choice, Detective. I said they didn't need them, but Felix said it was essential. He said he knew better.
The more Monsieur talks, the shadier his dealings with the Major become. It's beginning to sound as though the riots were no accident.
That is all for now.
Alrighty, no connections. But we can now search his room. And let's see what we can find. A letter stating the blackmailer would reveal information of his questionable business dealings. Monsieur de Silva, at first you may question the nature of this letter, but by its conclusion you will know what you have fought so hard to keep hidden could be far from it. You have spent years feeding off the hard-working backs of others and offering nothing in return. Your workers continue to take their lives into their own hands, day after day, with your shoddy, damaged and dangerous machines for a fraction of what they deserve. Deal after deal is made, and while your pockets become fatter, lining them with more of your blood money, it is your workers that must pay the price. The mistreatment and pain you have caused does not only reside in the factories that you own, but the house that you live in. You do not value the lives of those that allow you to live the opulent life that you do, and I will not allow that to continue. I can no longer sit back and watch as you disregard any sense of integrity or morality and continue to remain on your self-made pedestal, lording over those that deserve so much more. It is time you pay the price for your crimes, and the cost is 5,000 francs. It is a small price to pay for my silence, for if I do not receive it before Friday, it will not be cash you are paying, but rather years behind bars. Bring the money in a small brown paper parcel addressed to Monsieur Cordier to the post office on Rue des Entrepots. Give it to the cashier and leave. If you do as requested, you will not hear from me again, and you may continue your life of luxury. It is obvious you do not value other lives, but I urge you to consider what yours is worth. So he is also getting blackmailed. Of course, it wants us to talk to him again, but we are going to search more of his room. A contract for a partnership between Ernesto and Hugo. It's missing Hugo's signature. 12.1. This agreement is governed by the laws of the Kingdom of Belgium. Both parties agree to the following. Current workers' strike shall cease in all manners and forms. Factory floor machine operators and supervisors shall return to their positions immediately. Terms of the above contract shall be implemented and relevant actions taken directly. Signed, both of them, or at least one of them. And we do have a connection here. So there's going to be connection between partially signed contract and maybe scrap paper.
This will not get me any closer to my goal. Is there something I am not seeing?
What could it be then?
I must take a different approach if I am to uncover.
Oh, so I gotta take one of them. Hugo may collude with Ernesto.
Magnifique.
I am doubtful this duo would collaborate. Would Ernesto deal with another member of the house? Perhaps someone who never confirmed his alibi? Seem unlikely to collude, but does not mean they wouldn't. A razor-sharp letter opener, almost brand new, lies discarded on the floor. And we have a new weapon. So it looks like in every room there is something that could be used to cause the knife wound, which is very convenient.
What is it now, detective?
Okay, so we can actually push on him here. Let's start with the ones below, though. Monsieur Demire invited Monsieur Becker so that you two might sit down and find some common ground.
Yes, and no one asked him to.
But surely it is beneficial to both parties. Your profits must have been affected.
There are barely any profits to speak of.
Why have those talks not taken place and a deal arranged?
Monsieur Beckers has made no attempt to speak with me and offered no counter-offer. The ball is in his court, detective.
Although it is Monsieur de Silva's wages and treatment of his staff that is in question, it sounds as though he is at least trying to resolve the issue. Surprising, unlike Monsieur Becker's. Were you expecting some correspondence this weekend?
Excuse me? Detective, I think you are beginning to lose your mind.
I do not think it is unreasonable to question why you would feel the need to bring a letter opener with you.
Really, detective? If I had stabbed a man with it, do you really think I would have left it lying out in my room?
Monsieur de Silva is correct. It was a stretch to believe someone would be so careless. The murder weapon remains somewhere in the house, though. Before I push him here, I want to leave and make sure there's no more connections.
That is all for now.
Because I know for a fact we'll more than likely get a connection after that. I don't see no exclamation mark there. So...
What is it now, detective?
shouldn't be anything.
I have spoken of a potential blackmail ring, and yet you still kept your letter to yourself.
It is none of your business. And it is nothing more than a cheap trick to have me admit something that is not true.
If that were the case, it would be strange for you to have kept the letter and brought it with you, would it not?
Your persistence is a trait I do not enjoy.
Monsieur de Silva has remained blunt, if not curt, with his response to my question. Perhaps it would be best to act in a courteous and empathetic manner, so that he may more forthcoming with the truth of his blackmail letter and its content. So we need to be more empathetic. You do not have to enjoy it, Monsieur, but you must answer to it. I don't know about this one. Straightforward or authoritative? Go straightforward.
No reason, detective. Merely saving you from wasting your time.
I will be the judge of that. I would like to know about any and all evidence that may help my investigation. I trust there is nothing else you deem a waste of my time.
Of course not, officer. It's not as though you think I'm harboring some illicit secret. The letter was a pathetic attempt to intimidate me. Nothing more.
Okay, let's be a little concerned here. You do not value the lives of those that allow you to live the opulent life that you do. I don't know about this one.
I have never heard so much rubbish in all my life. I value those that work hard and deserve it.
That suggests there are some that you do not respect.
Yes, well, why should I praise someone for doing a poor job? You make me sound like some monster.
Monsieur, the letter does not only discuss your questionable business dealings, but also cases of abuse against your staff. Both accusations that must be taken very seriously.
Detective, there is a difference between telling a member of my staff what to do and abuse.
And it is you that decides where that line is drawn?
In my house? Yes, it is.
Monsieur does not like being pressed on the subject of how he treats his staff. If he had nothing to hide, there should be no need for such a reaction. Do you have any idea as to which staff member may have expressed their abuse?
Please stop calling it that. I treat all my servants exactly how I always have, and no one has complained before.
That does not mean your behavior is appropriate.
They have one chance. If they are not doing the job they are hired to do, they are gone. You would be surprised how many staff expect an easy ride.
I did not expect Monsieur to treat his staff the same as his friends, but I also did not expect him to treat them like stray dogs.
Is there a specific member of staff that may have expected such a ride?
There is one girl, a new maid. I didn't expect great things from her, but Comtesse de Vos promised me she could do what was required.
This must be the young girl that the Comtesse spoke of. Perhaps the position she is finding for these girls are not the best fit.
That is all for now.
Alrighty. There's definitely a connection, more likely between
I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps a second look.
I know it's going to be more likely one of these.
Order and method. That is the way to solve.
No, interesting. I would have thought it would have been one of those. Okay, so blackmail letter. Maybe it's the blackmail letter and
I must act on thought.
okay, it's these two. Hugo and Ernesto seem unlikely to collude. Ernesto employed a servant from the woman's shelter.
Some would say a lucky guess. I would say a moment of genius.
Ernesto doesn't strike me as the sort of man that would ask for help, no matter how important. Ernesto may have asked Margot for help. Let's talk to Ernesto once more. Oh, there's actually a connection here. Okay, so the one connection we have here is Ernesto mistreatment his employees. Okay, and Ernesto employed a servant from the woman's shelter. Maybe these two?
The pieces of the puzzle are finally coming together.
Margot is making her shelter girls do her dirty work, finding dirt on members of the social elite. There we go. So we finally figured out the how. Or a possible how.
What is it now, detective?
Did you speak with the Comtesse directly about hiring a servant from the shelter?
She approached me. I thought it was rather brash.
In what way?
Assuming that I would want to take on another servant, and one from such a troubled background. She is running the charity, not I.
Monsieur, there is something you are keeping from me. Your business relationship with the Major was obviously towing the line of legality.
When he came to me, I told him that with the factories on strike and my profits pouring down the drain, I had nothing for him. But he said he could help me get them all back to work and the factories earning. His rates were steep, but he said he knew what needed to be done, and he was prepared to do it. A week passed and they were all still on strike. In fact, even more, had joined them. He made excuse after excuse, demanding more and more money for the job to be done. But he never actually told me what he was going to do.
The riots.
I had no idea they were going to charge them like that. How was I meant to know?
And even following such a tragedy, he continued to demand money from you.
He said if he wanted my silence, it would cost. Do you have any idea what it could do to my livelihood, my name? If it got out that I had paid the so-called security that did that.
I have every idea, monsieur. You hired a militia to take action against your own workers. You deserve whatever name is chosen for being so morally bereft in your decision-making.
I didn't know that was what he was going to do. You must believe me.
I have to believe nothing but the truth. And the truth, monsieur, is that it is not only the Major that has the blood of those men on his hands.
Alrighty.
That is all for now.
Yeah, the Silva and the Major, they kind of did some bad things. But Ernesto might not have known. Okay, we got one there. That looks to be the only one, though, so this must be... Something perturbs me about Margot's forceful nature. This reminds me of another incident. What could that be? Okay, let's see here. Maybe this one?
I should not be surprised by my own skills of deduction.
Margot may know more than she is letting on if she has an inside link with the staff of the house. I have found no clear evidence of the guests working together in any capacity. What has become clear is the Comite's connection to the staff. Could there be something more to their relationship? And it looks like we need to talk to the maid. Alrighty, so now we kind of figured out a connection between the maids, I should say, and the one guest. So in the next one, we will start talking to the servants. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the links below. In the next one, we shall delve deeper into the murder mystery.